everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I want to talk about some listing tips that are going to help you be very successful on Poshmark. These are all things that have to do with your listings and pricing and sending out offers and making sure that your listings are going to sell. So if that is something that is interesting to you, definitely keep watching and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any other future reselling videos that I do. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is that timing really does matter. So what this means is that you want to be adding items to your closet that are for the next season ahead. So for example, it is currently spring where I live, it is April. So I want to be currently thinking about summer items such as, flip-flops, bathing suits, stuff like that. And also kind of even thinking ahead into fall, because you want to be thinking the next season ahead. And this is so important because Poshers are looking on Poshmark specifically for items that are, that next season ahead so they could stock up on their closets. A good tip that I recommend is making sure that you check out that trends report that Poshmark sends out in the app, and you could also find it online if you just, Google it. But you want to be looking at that because that's going to help you determine what items are selling for that upcoming season and what items you should be listing. And you want to be listing those ahead of time, not waiting until the current season happens, because then by then you're already going to miss that opportunity. So make sure that you're listing a season ahead and don't really go by, oh, well, it's summer here, so people aren't going to be buying winter clothes, because that's not necessarily true. People are buying things all year round, but if you really want to, capitalize on a good opportunity, I would definitely list the next season ahead or the next 2 seasons ahead during the current season. And so you don't want to just be listing spring items during the spring, because people are already, they already stocked up their closets for that, and that's not really what they're really looking for. So make sure that you are stocking up ahead of time and making sure that you are using that trends report, and you will have a lot more success. Okay, so the next thing that you really want to do is stock up on a variety of brands, and especially those trending brands. So again, the trending report will also help you determine which brands to use, and people are always wanting to sort closets by certain brands. A lot of people really do like certain brands and they will only shop those brands. So while I also say that, a lot of the times it's not that important to have specific brands, I do also believe that it is, because there are people that really will only shop those brands. So make sure that you are, capitalizing on those trending brands, make sure that you are getting those brands that people want, and you will have more success doing this. And something you definitely want to know is that brands that slowly get momentum and slowly become more popular, they are brands that are going to be good and that are going to be worth picking up. But brands that quickly peak and then die off are probably not the brands that you want to be buying, because if you catch them too late, if you catch them after the spike, it's going to be harder to sell them. So you definitely want to find those brands that are slowly going up over time and make sure that you get those, because those are what's going to help you get those trending brands in your closet. And use social media as your friend. Whatever brands that you see on social media that people are using, especially if they are a brand that you've been seeing over and over and over again, definitely pick it up, because social media is just like Poshmark. People are going to want to buy when they see it on social media, and they're going to want to buy it on Poshmark because they might get a better deal. So definitely make sure that you are stocking up on those current trending brands, and also brands that are overall really good brands, and you will have a lot more success with sales. Okay, so the next tip that is really important to do is to list fresh inventory. So there's a stat that Poshmark gave us that items that are fresh listings are 2 times more likely to sell in a quicker period than listings that are copied or relisted. So this just goes to show that it's so important to be listing that fresh inventory, and I do always stress that it's very important to be relisting inventory daily, but it's also really important to be listing new items every day, because this is going to help you bring in those sales 2 times as fast as you would with just relisting your inventory. And a lot of people do really like to sort on the just in feature, so if you list that fresh inventory, your items are going to come up in that just in, and if you don't do this, they're not going to come up there, and therefore it's going to not put your items in those search bars. So you definitely want to make sure that your items have a high likelihood of being found by being put in those search bars. Actually, reposhed listings actually sell 30% faster than fresh listings. So another great tip is to go through your purchases that you've made on Poshmark if you are for a buyer and a seller. And if you don't like something that you wore already, or if you bought it and it's just not your style, you could reposh it and it will actually sell 30 times faster than a brand new listing. So this is a great way to list something, because you don't have to take the pictures, because using the reposh button, you can just take the original listing and post it as your own. It's not stealing the person's photos or anything, it's giving them credit, but it's basically just making it easy so you don't have to actually do all the hard work. And it's going to make your items sell so much quicker doing this. So if you are purchasing things and you don't like some things, or they don't fit you, or they're not exactly what you had wanted, you could resell them and they will probably actually sell pretty fast. Okay, so the next tip is to give your listings that you are relisting a fresh look. So what this means is to, white out those backgrounds, add descriptor words, add style tags, change up the photos. You want to kind of change up the item, because that'll catch people's attention. So if it's something that they've never seen and you've changed up the photos, it's going to actually help it sell quicker by doing this. So I already recommend to white out the background in every photo, at least the cover photo. You don't have to do it for every single photo in the listing, but every single cover photo should definitely have a white background. This is going to get priority from Google, and it's going to help your item sell quicker. But if you don't already do this, this is a great time to do it when you're relisting the item, because it's going to be fresh in the new feed, so that's also going to help it sell better. So you want to make sure that you're whiting out the backgrounds and that you're adding those descriptor words. Check on your descriptions. Make sure that they are really helpful to buyers. Maybe add in keywords that are going to help them search, and maybe add in words that you didn't already add in. Check your descriptions, check your titles. You really want to make sure that you are taking up the space to properly describe the item. It's going to help the item sell quicker. Maybe add in, texture words, or colors, or sizing, or fit, measurements, anything of that nature. If there's any flaws, add in as many details as possible, and that's going to help you be very successful. And then the final tip for this is to just add style tags. Style tags are a great way to kind of get some spotlight on your items, so you could add in, 90s or trending or animal print or things like that. That's going to help it kind of get more attention on it, and this will really help you. And I think it goes a really long way, and it's like in the drop down, so all you have to do is just add the 3 that it gives you a bunch to choose from, and then you just pick 3. And I think this will just give that listing an extra push and really help it make it sell quicker. The next tip that I highly recommend doing is to list consistently, because 94% of sales in a given week come from those who have listed that week. So that is so important, and it really goes a long way to be making sure that you are listing every single week. I can't stress enough how I think it's so important to list every single day, but at least once a week, and that's going to help you get more sales and more consistent sales by doing that. And also going along with this tip is to embrace those offers, because 67% of all sales on Poshmark come from offers. So this is so important, because if you send out offers or someone sends you an offer, you definitely want to be accepting or engaging in that, because you're going to, you have a higher chance of making a sale by doing this. So I can't stress it enough how important it is to be embracing those offers, and don't look at every lowball as a negative opportunity, because a good percentage of lowball offers, I think about 30% of offers that are less than 50% of the listing price, will actually be accepted if they are countered, or they will actually sell. So you definitely want to be sending out those counters, and even if it's a low ball, somebody might meet you in the middle, and it's worth it because it might actually end up in a sale. 50% of all sales on Poshmark come from buyers who have seen that listing for the first time that day. So you definitely want to make sure that first impression is good, because it's going to give that item a more likelihood of actually selling on that first glance. And if 50% of all sales on Poshmark come from that, that's half. That's a really good percent. So I highly recommend making sure those cover photos are really good, and it's going to help your items sell so much quicker. And the final set of tips that I'm going to recommend for you today is to make sure that your prices are competitive. I made a video last week on a person who had a CD listed that was way too high, and it just wasn't a very competitive price, and so it probably made the item sit so much longer. So you want to make sure that your prices are competitive and that they are fair. You want to make sure that you are giving the buyer a good deal, but also making sure that you can earn profits on it, because after all, we are all businesses here. We are all trying to make money from reselling. So the most important thing is to make sure that you're not ripping yourself off, but also giving the buyer a great opportunity. And finally, it's so important to be sharing your closet closets every single day. I might sound like a broken record because I talk about this tip so much, but it is so important to do. And if you share your closet at least 3 times a day, it's going to make your items a lot more likely to sell. And because, like I said earlier, buyers will actually sort from the just in features, so it's so important to make sure that your items are going to come up in that. So I highly recommend using the bulk share feature on Poshmark if you don't already. This is how you could share all your items in bulk, and it makes it really easy. If you don't have a VA, this is the best solution, but I highly recommend having a VA because that will actually help do it so much quicker, so you don't even have to do it. But if you don't have a VA, a very quick way to share is to use the bulk share, which is when you can just go through and check off all the listings, and then it will share them for you, so you don't have to kind of share every individual listing. So these are my listing tips that I wanted to talk about this week that are really going to help you make those sales and have more sales coming in consistently. So if these are tips that are helpful for you, definitely let me know down below which one is your favorite and which one that you swear by, because I love hearing feedback from everyone that has watched my videos that tells me that they really love my tips and that they are really helpful to them and that they work for them. So I want to know which of these tips works really well for you. So let me know in the comments down below, and also make sure that you're subscribed. If you want to see another video on how you can get consistent sales on Poshmark, you can click right here. And if you want to see another video on secret features on Poshmark that you should really be using, you can click right here. But until next time, I will see you then.